I'm wiping down the same glass for the third time when she walks onto the tiny stage at the Rusty String. The Winter Music Festival brings all kinds of wannabes through our doors, but something about this woman makes me pause mid-polish. She's got that kind of brunette hair that catches the amber stage lights like whiskey in a crystal tumbler. Brown eyes that seem to hold secrets I want to unlock. When she adjusts the microphone stand, her fingers move with the confidence of someone who knows exactly what they're doing. Another whiskey neat? The regular at the end of the bar waves his empty glass, but I barely hear him. She strums the first chord, and damn if the whole place doesn't just shut up. Her voice cuts through the usual bar chatter like a blade through silk. The song is called Frequencies according to the little chalkboard sign, but it might as well be called Stop Everything and Listen because that's exactly what happens. I've been mixing drinks for 8 years. I've seen performers come and go, watched dreams get shattered over my bar top more times than I can count. But this woman, Eden Rodriguez the sign says, she's different. When she sings about loneliness and late-night radio signals, I swear she's looking right at me. The song ends, and the applause feels almost inappropriate, like we've all witnessed something too intimate for a public space. She says a quiet thank you and starts packing up her guitar. That's when I do something I never do. I reach for the top shelf bourbon, the stuff we save for special occasions, and pour 2 fingers into a clean glass. I don't even think about it, just walk around the bar and approach her corner of the stage. Compliments of the house, I say, offering her the drink. That was something else. She looks up from her guitar case, and those brown eyes focus on me with an intensity that makes my stomach flip. You don't have to. I want to. The words come out more honest than I intended. I'm Quinn. I tend bar here most nights. Eden. She takes the glass, and our fingers brush for just a second. This is good whiskey. Good music deserves good whiskey. I lean against the edge of the stage, trying to look casual while my heart does something stupid in my chest. You perform around here often? First time in Colorado Springs. She takes a sip and closes her eyes for a moment. I've been traveling, looking for the right place to land. Well, you certainly landed somewhere tonight. I gesture toward the crowd, which is slowly returning to normal bar conversation. They don't usually pay attention like that. She laughs, and it's this low musical sound that makes me want to hear it again. Maybe they were just being polite. Trust me, politeness died in this place years ago. I check my watch, more to have something to do with my hands than because I actually care about the time. We close at 2, but if you want to hang around, I make a mean late-night coffee. Nothing fancy, just the good stuff. Eden looks at me for a long moment, like she's trying to read something in my expression. I'd like that. I've been living on gas station coffee and vending machine sandwiches for weeks. Then consider this a public service. I head back toward the bar, but I can feel her watching me walk away. Find a spot anywhere you like. I'll be done here in about an hour. The rest of my shift passes in a blur of routine pours and casual conversation. But I keep glancing toward the corner where Eden has settled with her guitar and a notebook. She's writing something, occasionally looking up to watch me work. Every time our eyes meet, I feel that same little jolt of electricity. By the time I flip the sign to closed and lock the front door, it's just the 2 of us and the lingering scent of bourbon and possibility. 3 nights later, the bell above the door chimes, and I look up to see Eden walking in with her guitar case. She's wearing a wool coat that's seen better days, but it doesn't matter because she lights up the whole damn place just by being here. Back so soon? I ask, trying to keep my voice casual while my pulse kicks up about 10 notches. I told myself I needed the atmosphere for songwriting. She slides onto a bar stool, setting her guitar case carefully beside her, but that's probably bullshit. I pour her a whiskey without asking. Lucky for you, I specialize in bullshit. It's a bartender thing. She laughs, and there's that sound again, like music I want to memorize. I've been staying at this motel that smells like disinfectant and regret. Your place has better acoustics. That's the most romantic thing anyone's ever said about the Rusty String. I lean against the bar, studying her face. So what's the real story? Why Colorado Springs? Eden takes a sip of her whiskey, considering. I was supposed to get married last year. Big wedding, white dress, the whole performance. 3 days before the ceremony, I realized I was about to marry someone I barely knew anymore. Cold feet? More like cold everything. She traces the rim of her glass with one finger. I called it off, packed my car, and started driving. Been moving ever since. I want to ask about the someone she almost married, but something in her expression tells me to wait. Instead, I share something I've never told anyone. I came here to be a musician. Had this whole plan about Nashville and recording contracts. Lasted about 6 months before I realized I was better at listening to music than making it. That's not failure, Eden says. That's wisdom. Tell that to my guitar gathering dust in my closet. Maybe it's not gathering dust. Maybe it's just waiting. The bar is quieter tonight. Tuesday regulars nursing their drinks and watching the basketball game on the old television. I offer Eden the corner booth, the one with the best view of the mountains through the window. She accepts, and I bring over the coffee pot an hour before closing. You know, she says, pulling out her notebook, I've been writing this song about frequencies. Radio signals that travel through space, reaching places they were never meant to go. Like your music reaching people it was never meant to reach? Something like that. She shows me a page covered in scratched out lyrics and chord progressions. Sometimes I think we're all just radio signals, broadcasting into the void and hoping someone's tuning in. I slide into the booth across from her, forgetting about the other customers for a moment. What frequency are you broadcasting on? Still trying to figure that out. She looks up from her notebook, and those brown eyes are soft in the dim light. What about you? What station are you tuned to? Right now? Yours. The words hang between us, heavier than I intended. Eden's pen stops moving, and she looks at me with something that might be recognition or might be fear. I'm not sure which scares me more. Quinn. I know. I stand up, suddenly aware that I've said too much. I should finish closing up. But she reaches across the table and catches my hand. Don't go, please. Her fingers are warm, and I can feel the calluses from guitar strings against my palm. I'm not going anywhere. I mean after, when the bar closes. Don't disappear on me. I look down at our joined hands, at the way her thumb is tracing small circles on my skin. Where do you want to go? Anywhere. I just want to keep talking to you. So we do. After I lock up and count the register, we walk through downtown Colorado Springs in the cold night air. The streets are empty except for the occasional car, and our breath makes small clouds in the winter air. Eden tells me about the towns she's passed through, the stages she's played, the songs she's written on lonely highways. I've never stayed anywhere longer than a few weeks, she says as we pause in front of a closed coffee shop. But there's something about this place. About you. Maybe you're just tired of running. Maybe. She turns to face me, and we're standing close enough that I can see the flecks of gold in her brown eyes. Or maybe I found something worth stopping for. The kiss happens slowly, like we're both aware of how much it's going to change everything. Her lips are soft and taste like whiskey and possibility. When we break apart, she rests her forehead against mine. I should probably mention, she whispers, that the someone I almost married was named Sarah. I should probably mention, I whisper back, that I've been hoping you'd say something like that. She laughs, and I feel it against my lips. So what now? Now we figure out what frequency we're both broadcasting on. Tuesday becomes our night. Eden shows up at the Rusty String every week, and I start looking forward to it like a kid counting days until Christmas. She sets up in the corner booth with her guitar and notebook, and I find myself inventing new cocktails just to see her smile when she tastes them. This one's called Midnight Frequencies, I say, sliding a bourbon-based drink across the table. It's got a little smoke, a little sweetness, and just enough bite to keep you awake. Eden takes a sip and closes her eyes. It tastes like late-night radio and forgotten dreams. That's exactly what I was going for. She's been working on new songs, and sometimes she'll play a few bars quietly while I work. The other customers have gotten used to it, even started requesting her music. But she only plays for me, really. I can tell by the way she watches me while she sings, like she's trying to communicate something that regular conversation can't handle. You know what I miss most about performing? She asks one night, tuning her guitar. The connection. When you're on stage and you find that one person in the audience who really gets it, the one who's listening with their whole body, not just their ears. Sounds like you found that person. I think I did. She starts picking out a melody I haven't heard before. I wrote this for you. It's still rough, but... She plays, and I stop pretending to clean glasses. The song is about finding home in unexpected places, about radio signals finally reaching their intended destination. Her voice is softer than usual, more intimate, like she's singing directly into my ear. When she finishes, I realize I've been holding my breath. That's beautiful, It's not finished yet. I keep thinking it needs something more. Maybe it doesn't need words. Maybe it needs harmony. She looks up from her guitar, surprised. You still play? Sometimes. When no one's listening. I want to hear. After I close the bar, I dig my old acoustic out of the office closet. It's been months since I've touched it, and my fingers feel clumsy on the strings. But Eden is patient, walking me through the chord progression until I can follow along. There, she says when we find the right blend, that's what it needed. We play together for an hour, just the two of us in the empty bar with the chairs stacked on tables and the neon beer signs casting colored light across the wall. When we harmonize on the chorus, something clicks into place, like puzzle pieces finding their perfect fit. I forgot how good this feels, I admit, setting down my guitar. Playing music? Playing music with someone who understands it. Eden moves closer on the bench we're sharing, and I can smell her perfume, something light and woody that makes me want to bury my face in her neck. I understand you. Do you? I think you're scared of wanting things. I think you've convinced yourself that serving other people's dreams is safer than chasing your own. She's right, and it makes me want to run or hide or kiss her. I choose the third option, leaning in and pressing my lips to hers. She tastes like bourbon and possibility. And when her fingers tangle in my hair, I forget about being scared. The kiss deepens, and I pull her closer, feeling the warmth of her body against mine. She makes a small sound in the back of her throat that sends heat straight through me. When we break apart, we're both breathing hard. I should probably tell you, she says, her forehead resting against mine, that I've been thinking about doing that for weeks. I should probably tell you, I reply, that I've been hoping you would. She laughs, and the sound vibrates against my lips. So what happens now? Now we stop pretending this is just friendship. I was never pretending. She runs her thumb across my cheek. I was just waiting for you to catch up. I'm a slow learner. Good thing I'm patient. We sit there in the quiet bar, holding each other while the neon signs buzz and the old building settles around us. Eden's head is on my shoulder, and I can feel her breathing slowly evening out. I never stay anywhere long, she says quietly. But I'm thinking about staying here. What changed? You did. She lifts her head to look at me. You make me want to try something different, something real. Like what? Like building something, instead of just passing through. Like harmony instead of just melody. I kiss her again, softer this time, like a promise. I'd like that. Even if it's scary? Especially if it's scary. She smiles, and I know that Tuesday nights are just the beginning. Whatever frequency we're broadcasting on, we're finally tuning into each other. Eden starts showing up on afternoons when I'm prepping for the evening shift. She sits at the bar while I slice lemons and stock bottles, and we talk about everything and nothing. She tells me about her childhood in New Mexico, how she learned guitar from her grandmother. I tell her about growing up in Chicago, how I came to Colorado with dreams bigger than my bank account. Show me how to make that drink, she says one afternoon, pointing to a complicated cocktail recipe I'd written on the back of a napkin. The one with the smoky flavor. I guide her through the steps, standing behind her as she measures bourbon and adds the muddled herbs. Her hair smells like vanilla and something uniquely Eden, and when she leans back against me, I forget what I was supposed to be teaching her. Like this? She asks, stirring the mixture. Perfect. My hands cover hers on the bar spoon. You're a natural. She turns in my arms, and suddenly we're kissing again. Deep and hungry right there in the middle of the empty bar. She tastes like the cocktail she's been sampling, and I can feel her heart beating against my chest. We should probably talk about what this is, she says, when we break apart. Do we have to? Right now? No. But eventually. I know she's right, but talking means admitting that I'm falling for someone who's spent the last year running from commitment. It means acknowledging that I've never felt this way about anyone, man or woman, and that scares the hell out of me. Instead, I teach her to make old-fashioned cocktails, and she teaches me the finger-picking pattern for a Johnny Cash song. We fall into an easy rhythm, like we've been doing this for years instead of weeks. The trouble starts when Eden's friend Marcus throws a house party and invites both of us. You should come, Eden says. I'd like you to meet my friends. The party is in a converted loft downtown, full of musicians and artists and people who wear vintage clothes unironically. Eden fits right in, laughing and talking with people who've known her longer than I have. I try to blend in, but I feel like I'm wearing a sign that says bartender who doesn't belong here. That's when I meet Sarah. She's tall and sharp-featured, with the kind of effortless style that probably costs more than my monthly rent. She approaches me by the makeshift bar, where I'm nursing a beer and trying to look comfortable. "You must be Quinn," she says, and there's something in her voice that sets my teeth on edge. "I'm Sarah. Eden's told me about you. Nothing too terrible, I hope." "Oh, quite the opposite." She looks across the room to where Eden is playing guitar with a few other musicians. "She seems quite taken with you." I should walk away. Every instinct I have tells me this conversation is heading somewhere I don't want to go. But I stay, because Sarah is the woman Eden almost married, and I need to know what I'm up against. Eden has a pattern, Sarah continues, lighting a cigarette. She finds someone new, gets intense very quickly, then moves on when reality sets in. It's not personal, it's just who she is. That's not the Eden I know. Give it time. Sarah blows smoke toward the ceiling. She's been running for a year now. You think Colorado Springs is going to be what finally makes her stop? Before I can answer, Eden appears beside me, sliding her arm around my waist. "Sarah, I didn't know you were in town. Just passing through, like old times." The tension between them is thick enough to cut with a knife. Eden's grip on my waist tightens, and I can feel her fingers pressing against my hip bone. "We should probably get going," Eden says. "Early morning tomorrow." "Of course." Sarah smiles, but it doesn't reach her eyes. "It was nice meeting you, Quinn. Take care of our girl." Outside, Eden is quiet as we walk to my car. The night air is cold, and I can see her breath in small puffs as she exhales. "I'm sorry about that," she finally says. Sarah has a talent for making everything complicated. Is she right? About the running? Eden stops walking and turns to face me. "What do you mean?" "She said you have a pattern. That you get intense and then move on." "And you believe her?" I don't know what to believe. The words come out harsher than I intended. "You've been here a month, Eden. A month. And I'm already falling for you. And I don't know if that makes me an idiot or just another stop on your highway tour." She looks like I've slapped her. "Is that really what you think?" "I think you're scared of staying in one place. I think you're scared of commitment. And I think maybe Sarah knows you better than I do." Sarah knows the person I used to be. Eden's voice is steady, but I can see the hurt in her eyes. She doesn't know who I am now. "Then tell me. Who are you now?" "I'm someone who's tired of running. Someone who found something worth staying for." We stand there in the cold parking lot, looking at each other across a distance that feels much wider than 3 feet. I want to believe her, but Sarah's words are echoing in my head, mixing with my own fears about getting too close too fast. "Come home with me," Eden says quietly. "Let me show you." I follow her to my apartment, and she's gentle and patient as she kisses away my doubts. She shows me with her hands and her mouth that this isn't just another stop on her journey. When she makes love to me, it's with a tenderness that makes my chest tight. She whispers my name like a prayer, and I understand that whatever this is between us, it's real and fragile and worth fighting for. Afterward, we lie tangled in my sheets, and Eden traces patterns on my bare shoulder. "I'm not going anywhere," she says into the darkness. "Not unless you want me to." "I don't want you to." "Then stop listening to Sarah and start listening to me." I kiss her forehead and hold her closer. "I'm trying." "Try harder." 2 weeks after the party, Eden suggests we move in together. Not because of convenience or saving money, but because she wants to wake up next to me every morning. We find a small apartment with good natural light and enough space for both our guitars. "We need furniture," she says, surveying the empty living room. "Real furniture, not just your bar stools and my sleeping bag." That's how we end up at Marshall's estate sales on a Saturday morning, wandering through rooms filled with other people's memories. Eden gravitates toward the musical instruments while I check out the practical stuff. Kitchen table, decent couch, maybe a bookshelf. "Look at this," Eden calls from the corner of the living room. She's standing next to an old writing desk, dark wood with brass corners and intricate carved details. It's perfect for songwriting. The desk is beautiful. Something from the 1940s with clean lines, and that solid craftsmanship you don't see anymore. The price tag says $200, which is more than we planned to spend, but Eden runs her hands over the surface like she's already fallen in love. It has character, she says. Look at these little marks here. Someone spent years writing at this desk. Songs or love letters? Both, probably. We buy it, along with a small couch and a kitchen table that wobbles slightly. The delivery guy helps us get everything upstairs, and Eden immediately claims the desk as her workspace. She sets up her notebook and guitar picks in the small drawers, arranging everything just so. I'm going to write so many songs here, she says, running her fingers along the edge. I can feel the inspiration already. That evening, while Eden is at the grocery store, I decide to clean the desk properly. It's got years of dust and old polish built up, and I want it to look perfect for her. I'm wiping down the drawers when I notice something odd about the bottom one. It's too shallow. The drawer is only about 3 inches deep, but from the outside it should be at least 6. I pull it out completely and examine the back panel. There's a small gap along the edge, like it's not quite flush. I press against it and the panel moves slightly. After a few minutes of careful prying, the false back comes away completely, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside are papers, lots of them. They're yellowed with age and smell like old roses and cigarettes. Most are handwritten letters, but there are also what look like official documents with stamps and seals I don't recognize. The first letter I pick up is dated June 15, 1943. The handwriting is feminine, careful cursive in fading blue ink. My dearest Catherine, I cannot sleep knowing you are working the night shift again. The codes are becoming more complex, and I worry about the strain on your eyes. Please remember to take breaks, even if the supervisors say otherwise. I've hidden another letter in your desk drawer, the one with the loose handle. Look for it after midnight when Smith goes to check the wire room. All my love, M. I sit back on my heels, staring at the letter, Margaret and Catherine, during the war. And Catherine had a desk with a loose handle, just like this one. Eden's key turns in the lock, and I hear her call out, Quinn? I got those lemons you wanted for the mint juleps. In here! I call back, my voice sounding strange even to myself. She appears in the doorway with grocery bags, takes one look at me sitting on the floor surrounded by old papers, and sets everything down. What did you find? Letters. From 1943. There's a secret compartment in your desk. Eden kneels beside me, and I hand her the letter I've been reading. She reads it silently, her eyes growing wide. These are love letters, she says, between 2 women. It gets better. I show her another document, this one with an official-looking header. Look at this. They were both working for the government. Something about code breaking and intelligence work. Eden picks up another letter, this one from Catherine to Margaret. The new encryption patterns are unlike anything we've seen. Johnson suspects the Germans have changed their entire system. I've been working on a theory about frequency analysis, but I can't discuss it openly. Meet me in the usual place tomorrow night. I have something important to show you. Your devoted C. They were codebreakers, Eden breathes, during World War II, and they were lovers. We spend the next hour going through the papers. There are dozens of letters, some tender and romantic, others discussing work in careful coded language. There are also documents that look official, with stamps and signatures, but written in what appears to be cipher. This is incredible, Eden says. They were hiding their relationship, but they were also hiding government secrets, right here in this desk. I pick up a photograph that was tucked between 2 letters. It shows 2 women in 1940s clothing, standing close together in front of what looks like a government building. One is tall and dark-haired, the other shorter with curled blonde hair. They're not touching, but there's something intimate about the way they're looking at each other. Margaret and Catherine, Eden says, looking over my shoulder. They were beautiful. They were brave. I study the photo, thinking about what it must have been like to love someone you couldn't acknowledge publicly, to work in secret for your country while keeping your own secrets. Can you imagine living like that? Having to hide who you are every single day? Eden is quiet for a moment, then reaches over and takes my hand. Maybe we still are, in some ways. How many people know about us, really? She's right. We've been careful, discreet. We hold hands in my apartment and kiss in the empty bar, but we haven't exactly announced our relationship to the world. That's different, I say. We have choices they didn't have. Do we? Or do we just tell ourselves that to feel better about playing it safe? I look at the letters spread out around us, at the evidence of a love that survived a war and decades of secrecy. What are you saying? I'm saying maybe we found these for a reason. Maybe Margaret and Catherine are trying to tell us something. Like what? Eden leans over and kisses me, soft and sure. Like love is worth the risk. Like some things are worth fighting for, even when it's dangerous. I kiss her back, tasting the truth in her words. So what do we do with all this? We find out what happened to them. And we decide what we want to happen to us. Eden becomes obsessed with Margaret and Catherine's story. She spends hours at the library researching wartime code-breaking programs, trying to match the documents we found with historical records. I find her at the writing desk most mornings, surrounded by photocopies and notes, her hair falling in her face as she writes. Look at this, she says one morning, showing me a page from a book about women in World War II intelligence. There was a classified program called Operation Frequency. Female codebreakers working on German encryption. It was so secret that most of the records were destroyed after the war. So Margaret and Catherine were part of something bigger. Something huge and dangerous. Eden points to a paragraph about security protocols. They could have been executed for treason if caught passing information. These weren't just love letters. They were using their relationship to share intelligence. I read over her shoulder, trying to piece together the story from fragments of history and faded ink. What about after the war? Do you think they stayed together? I don't know. But I think I found someone who might. That afternoon, Eden drags me to a nursing home on the outskirts of town. She's tracked down a woman named Helen Morrison, who apparently worked in the same government building, where Margaret and Catherine were stationed. Helen is 93 and sharp as a tack, with white hair and eyes that remind me of Eden's. She invites us into the visiting room and listens carefully as Eden explains about the desk and the letters. Catherine Murphy, Helen says slowly. Now that's a name I haven't heard in decades. She was brilliant, that one. Could break a code faster than anyone I ever knew. What about Margaret? I ask. Helen's expression grows soft. Margaret Phillips. They were inseparable, those two. Worked together, lived together, some people said. Of course, we didn't ask questions about that sort of thing back then. Lived together? Had a little apartment near the facility. Catherine was my neighbor for about 5 years after the war ended, never married, either of them, which was unusual for women their age. Helen gives us a knowing look, but they seemed happy. Always together, always finishing each other's sentences. Eden leans forward. What happened to them? Catherine died in 1987. Heart attack, sudden thing. Margaret was devastated. She moved away shortly after, said she couldn't bear to stay in the same place without her. I heard she went to California, but I never saw her again. 40 years, Eden says quietly. They were together for 40 years. Helen nods, give or take. They were careful about it, of course. Had to be. But anyone with eyes could see they loved each other. Real love, the kind that lasts. On the drive home, Eden is unusually quiet. I can tell she's processing what we learned, trying to fit it into the story she's been building in her head. 40 years, she repeats. Can you imagine? All that time, all that secrecy, but they made it work. It must have been hard. But they had each other. That's what matters, right? Having someone who understands you completely. Eden reaches over and takes my hand. Someone who knows your secrets and loves you anyway. That night, Eden writes a new song. I listen from the shower as she works out the melody on her guitar, humming fragments of lyrics that drift through the apartment. When I come out, she's sitting at Margaret's desk, completely absorbed in her work. It's about them, she says without looking up. About loving someone when the world tells you it's wrong. About finding ways to be together even when it's dangerous. Can I hear it? She plays it for me, and it's hauntingly beautiful. The melody is simple, but the lyrics are complex, full of double meanings and coded messages, just like the letters we found. When she finishes, I realize I'm crying. That's incredible, I manage. It's not finished yet. Eden sets down her guitar and comes to sit beside me on the couch. I keep thinking about what Helen said, about them being together for 40 years, about making it work despite everything. What about it? I want that. With you. I want to be the kind of love that lasts through decades and secrets and whatever else the world throws at us. I kiss her, tasting the salt of my own tears on her lips. I want that too. Even if it's hard, even if people don't understand, especially then. She pulls me closer, and we make love on the couch with Margaret and Catherine's letters scattered around us like blessings. Eden is gentle and fierce at the same time, whispering my name like a secret code only she knows how to break. When she moves above me, her hair falling like a curtain around our faces, I understand what Helen meant about real love. The kind that lasts. Afterward, we lie tangled together, listening to the sounds of the city outside our window. Eden traces lazy patterns on my chest, and I think about the photograph we found, about Margaret and Catherine standing so close but not quite touching. We're lucky, Eden says. We get to touch. We get to say the words out loud. We're building on their foundation, I reply. They made it possible for us to be here like this. Then we owe it to them to make it count. What do you mean? Eden props herself up on her elbow, looking down at me with those brown eyes that always seem to see straight through to my soul. I mean, we stop hiding. We stop being careful. We be the love story they never got to have in public. And if people have problems with that, then they can write their own damn love story. I pull her down for another kiss, and I know she's right. Margaret and Catherine loved each other for 40 years in secret. The least we can do is love each other openly for whatever time we have. 3 months after we find Margaret and Catherine's letters, Eden gets a call that changes everything. I'm restocking the bar when she walks in with an expression I've never seen before, somewhere between excitement and terror. That was Marcus, she says, sliding onto her usual stool. He knows someone who knows someone in the music industry. There's a band looking for a female vocalist for their tour, folk rock, established following, real venues instead of coffee shops. I stop polishing the glass in my hands. That's amazing. When do they need an answer? Tomorrow. The tour starts in 2 weeks, 6 months, 12 cities, ending in Nashville. She looks at me like she's waiting for something. It's everything I've dreamed about. Then you have to do it. Do I? Eden's voice is small, uncertain. What about us? What about this? She gestures around the bar, at the life we've been building together. We'll figure it out. Long distance, video calls, whatever it takes. But even as I say it, I can feel something cold settling in my chest. 6 months is a long time. And Nashville is where careers are made, where dreams come true for people talented enough to grab them. I don't want to leave you, Eden says. Not after everything we've found together. You're not leaving me. You're chasing your dream. What if I am leaving you? What if I get out there and realize this is what I really want? Her honesty hits me like a slap. Is that what you think will happen? I don't know. And that scares me. That night, Eden stays at the bar until closing, but we barely talk. She plays her guitar in the corner while I serve drinks, and every song sounds like goodbye. When the last customer leaves, we clean up in silence, moving around each other like dancers who've forgotten the steps. Say something, Eden finally says. Tell me what you're thinking. I'm thinking you should go. The words come out harder than I intended. I'm thinking you've been running towards something your whole life and now you finally know what it is. And I'm thinking you belong on stages, not in small-town bars serving drinks to people who don't appreciate what they're hearing. Eden sets down her guitar case and faces me. What if I don't want to go? Then you'll spend the rest of your life wondering what if. And eventually, you'll resent me for being the reason you stayed. You don't know that. Don't I? You almost married Sarah because it was safe. Then you ran because safe wasn't enough. Now you're going to choose safe again because it's easier than risking everything for what you really want. That's not fair. Maybe not. But it's true. We fight for the next hour, voices raised in the empty bar, saying things we both know we'll regret. Eden accuses me of pushing her away because I'm scared of being left behind. I accuse her of using our relationship as an excuse to avoid taking the risks her career demands. You know what your problem is? Eden says, her cheeks flushed with anger. You've spent so long playing it safe that you've forgotten how to want anything real. You pour drinks and listen to other people's music and pretend that's enough, but it's not. It's not enough for you, and it's not enough for me. At least I'm not running away when things get complicated. I'm not running away, I'm running towards something. Same thing you've been doing for the past year. Eden stares at me for a long moment, then picks up her guitar case. Maybe Sarah was right. Maybe I don't know how to stay. Maybe you don't. She leaves without saying goodbye, and I'm alone in the bar with the ghosts of our conversation echoing off the walls. I think about Margaret and Catherine's letters, about 40 years of love built on secrets and stolen moments. They made it work because they had to. We're throwing it away because we're afraid. The next morning, I wake up to silence. No Eden humming in the kitchen, no guitar music drifting through the apartment. Just the empty space where she used to be, and the writing desk that started it all. I find her at the library, surrounded by the same books and photocopies she's been studying for months. She doesn't look up when I sit down across from her. "I'm taking the tour," she says quietly. "I called Marcus this morning." "Good. You should." I keep thinking about what Margaret wrote in one of her letters, about how love isn't just about being together. It's about wanting the best for each other, even when it's hard. Sounds like something Margaret would say. She was smart, they both were. Eden finally looks at me, and her eyes are red-rimmed. "I love you, Quinn, but I need to know who I am when I'm not running from something or towards someone else." "I know. And you need to figure out what you want beyond serving other people's dreams." "I know that too." We sit in the library surrounded by other people's stories, not touching, not talking, just being in the same space one last time. Finally, Eden stands and gathers her things. "I'm sorry," she says. "For last night. For all of it. Me too. Will you hate me if I go?" "I could never hate you." She leans down and kisses me, soft and sweet and final. "Take care of Margaret and Catherine's letters. I think they'd want you to keep them safe." "I will." Eden walks away, and I watch her go, knowing that I'm watching the best thing in my life disappear because we're both too scared to fight for it. That night, I sit at the writing desk and read every single letter again, looking for some wisdom that Margaret and Catherine might have left behind. But all I find are two women who loved each other enough to make it work, no matter what the world threw at them. Unlike us. Eden leaves on a Tuesday. I know because that was supposed to be our night, and instead I'm alone in the rusty string, staring at the corner booth where she used to sit and write songs. The regular customers keep asking where she is, and I keep making excuses until I run out of lies. 2 weeks pass, then a month. I throw myself into work, picking up extra shifts, reorganizing the inventory, anything to keep busy. I pull my guitar out of the closet and play alone in the bar after closing, but every song sounds hollow without her harmony. I'm wiping down glasses on a Thursday night when I hear a familiar voice from the small stage area. Someone is playing Eden's song, the one she wrote about Margaret and Catherine, but it's not Eden's voice singing it. I look up to see a young guy with a beard, strumming an acoustic guitar and singing about frequencies and coded love. He's good, but he's missing something essential. He's missing the understanding that comes from living the story he's singing. "That's a beautiful song," an older woman at the bar says. "Did you write it?" "Nah, heard it from a friend. It's about some women during the war, keeping secrets and stuff." I want to tell him it's about more than that. It's about choosing love when the world makes it dangerous. It's about finding someone who speaks your language when everyone else is speaking in code. But I don't say anything. I just pour another drink and try to ignore the ache in my chest. The turning point comes when I'm cleaning out Eden's side of the closet. I find a notebook she left behind, filled with song lyrics and sketches. Most of the pages are about us, about Colorado Springs, about finding home in unexpected places. On the last page, she's written something that makes my throat tight. "Quinn makes me want to be brave. Not just about music, but about everything." Maybe that's what love is, finding someone who makes you want to be the best version of yourself, even when they're not around to see it. I read it 3 times before I understand what I have to do. The next night, I sign up for open mic night at the Rusty String. I haven't performed in public since college, but I dig out my guitar and tune it with shaking hands. When they call my name, I walk to the small stage area and adjust the microphone. "This is a song written by someone very special," I tell the small crowd. "It's about love and war, and the courage to be yourself when the world makes it hard. It's called Frequencies." I start playing, and my voice is shaky at first, but as I sing Eden's words, something settles into place. The song isn't just about Margaret and Catherine anymore. It's about Eden and me. It's about every person who's ever loved someone they weren't supposed to love, who's ever had to choose between safety and truth. When I finish, the applause is warm and genuine. But more importantly, I feel something I haven't felt in months. I feel like myself again. "That was beautiful," says a woman I don't recognize. "Do you have any more songs?" "Not yet," I say. "But I'm working on it." Over the next few weeks, I start writing. Not just playing other people's music, but creating something new. Songs about loss and hope and the space between what we want and what we choose. Songs about small-town bars and the dreams that live in the corners of ordinary places. I perform every Thursday night, and slowly, people start coming specifically to hear me play. The owner of the Rusty String, a gruff man named Bill who's owned the place for 20 years, pulls me aside after one of my sets. "You're bringing in customers," he says. "People are talking about Thursday nights here. You interested in a regular gig?" "What do you mean?" "I mean, maybe it's time this place had some live music that isn't just drunk college kids with guitars. You interested in running a music program here? Booking other acts? Maybe hosting a songwriter's night?" I think about Eden, about how she said I was good at listening to music. Maybe she was right. Maybe there are different ways to be part of the music world. "I'd like that," I tell Bill. 3 months after Eden left, I get a text from her. It's a photo of her on stage in front of a crowd, guitar in hand, smile bright as stage lights. The caption says, "Thinking of you. Hope you're writing songs." I text back, "I am. Hope you're living your dreams." Her response comes quickly every night. "But I miss harmonizing with you." I stare at the message for a long time before I type back, "Me too." That night, I write a song about missing someone who's exactly where they're supposed to be, about loving someone enough to let them go, even when it breaks you, about the frequency of longing that travels across distance and time, reaching places it was never meant to go. I think about Margaret and Catherine, about 40 years of love built on stolen moments and secret messages. They made it work because they had to. Eden and I are learning to make it work because we choose to. The song isn't finished yet. But I'm learning that some stories don't have endings. They just have new beginnings, written in different keys, harmonized by voices that know how to find each other across any distance. I pick up my phone and call Eden. It rings twice before she answers. "Quinn? I wrote you a song," I say. "Want to hear it?" "Always." I play it for her over the phone, and when I finish, I can hear her crying. "That's beautiful," she whispers. "I wish I could harmonize with you." "Maybe you can. Not in person, but maybe there are other ways." "What do you mean?" "I mean, maybe love isn't just about being in the same place. Maybe it's about being on the same frequency, even when you're broadcasting from different cities." "I love you, Quinn." "I love you too. Now tell me about Nashville." We talk for 2 hours, and for the first time since she left, it feels like we're building something instead of just missing what we lost. Eden's tour ends on a snowy February evening, exactly 1 year after we first met at the Rusty String. I'm setting up for Thursday night music when the door chimes, and I look up to see her standing there with her guitar case, hair longer than I remember, wearing the same wool coat but with new confidence in her posture. "Room for one more on the lineup?" she asks, and my heart does that same stupid flip it did the first night she walked in. "Depends. Are you just passing through?" "No, I'm home." The word hangs between us, heavy with possibility. I want to ask her what changed, what brought her back, but the bar is filling up with the Thursday night crowd, and I have a show to run. "There's always room for you," I say instead. "Your old booth is still open." She smiles, and it's like the sun coming out after a long winter. "Good. I have something new I want to play." The evening unfolds like a dream I've been having for months. I perform my set, songs I've written about longing and loss and the spaces between goodbye and hello. The audience is warm and responsive, and I can feel Eden watching from her corner booth, just like old times. When I finish, I call her to the stage. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest tonight. Please welcome back Eden Rodriguez." She walks to the microphone, and the whole room goes quiet. Even the regulars who've never paid attention to live music stop their conversations to listen. "A year ago, I played a song in this bar about frequencies," she begins, adjusting her guitar strap. "About signals traveling through space, reaching places they were never meant to go. I thought it was about radio waves and loneliness, but I was wrong." She looks directly at me. "It was about love. About finding someone who hears your signal and sends one back. About harmony that works across any distance." Eden starts playing, and I recognize the melody immediately. It's frequencies, but different, richer, more complex, with new verses about Nashville and stage lights, and the particular loneliness of getting everything you thought you wanted. "I spent 6 months learning to harmonize with strangers," she sings. "But I never stopped broadcasting on your frequency." When she reaches the chorus, she looks at me and nods. I know what she's asking. I pick up my guitar from behind the bar and join her on stage, finding the harmony we developed in this same room a year ago. Our voices blend perfectly, like they've been waiting all this time to find each other again. The song builds to a crescendo that makes the windows shake, and when we finish, the silence stretches for a heartbeat before the applause erupts. "That was beautiful," someone calls out. "Are you two together?" Eden looks at me, and I see the question in her eyes. The same question we've been dancing around for a year. The same question Margaret and Catherine never got to answer in public. "Yes," I say into the microphone. "We are." Eden grins and leans into the mic. "We're very much together." The applause is even louder this time, and I realize that our little bar crowd includes several couples holding hands, some of them same-sex. The world has changed since Margaret and Catherine's time, but love stories still matter, especially love stories that choose courage over fear. After the show, Eden and I walk through downtown Colorado Springs, just like we did that first night. But this time, we're holding hands, and when we stop in front of the old coffee shop, Eden turns to face me. "I have something to ask you," she says, reaching into her guitar case. "I've been carrying this around for 3 months, waiting for the right moment." She pulls out a small velvet box, and my heart stops. "I learned a lot about myself in Nashville," she continues. "I learned that I'm good enough to make it in the music industry. I learned that I can handle pressure and criticism and the business side of being an artist. But mostly, I learned that none of it means anything without someone to share it with." She opens the box, revealing a simple silver band with a small diamond. "Quinn Parker, will you marry me?" I look at the ring, then at her face, then at the snow falling around us like confetti. "Are you sure? What about your career? What about touring and recording and all the things you've worked for?" "I can have both. We can have both." I talked to my manager about basing myself here, using Colorado Springs as home base. There are studios in Denver, and I can tour regionally. I don't need Nashville to make music. I just need you to make it matter. I think about Margaret and Catherine, about 40 years of love hidden in secret compartments and coded messages. They would have given anything to stand in the middle of a public street and announce their love to the world. "Yes," I say, and Eden slips the ring onto my finger. "Yes, of course, yes." We kiss in the falling snow, and it tastes like promises and second chances, and the kind of love that's worth waiting for. 6 months later, the Rusty String has become Colorado Springs' premier venue for indie and folk music. Eden and I run it together, booking acts and hosting songwriter nights, and building the kind of community we always dreamed of. We've turned the back room into a small museum dedicated to Margaret and Catherine's story, displaying their letters alongside information about women in wartime intelligence. On our wedding day, we hold the ceremony in the bar, with flowers everywhere and Eden's guitar leaning against the old writing desk. When the officiant asks if we have anything to say to each other, Eden pulls out a piece of paper. "I wrote this for you," she says. "It's about finding your frequency and never wanting to change the station." She sings our vows, and I promise to harmonize with her for the rest of our lives. We exchange rings that belong to Margaret and Catherine, found in the desk along with their letters, and when we kiss, the whole room erupts in celebration. We're broadcasting on the same frequency now, and we always will be.